What is up, Broncos fans? The Denver Broncos show back here again to do another video. First video of the 2015 NFL season. Great to have football back. Great way for the NFL to kick off the 2015 season. Week 1 I thought was great, and obviously a great way for the Broncos to start off their 2015 season with a win over the Baltimore Ravens at home, 19-13. Start the season off on the right foot, go 1-0. Obviously, the Broncos have been fairly criticized for their performance in this game. I feel there's a lot of fans out there and media alike that are just being really overreactionary and panicking and acting in those type of emotions. Whereas how I feel about this game, obviously the Broncos didn't play well. It wasn't pretty. But at the end of the day, your team is not going to be defined in week 1 or in one game. So I'm not too I guess high on this win or too low on this win. To me, to sum it up, the Broncos got the job done. Now, starting with the offensive side of the ball for the Broncos here in this game, talking about some of the good things we did offensively. Obviously there wasn't much, and this wasn't a great performance offensively, but I still thought the Broncos did some things well, primarily controlling the clock and controlling the ball. You look at the time of possession in this game, the Broncos had the ball for 37 minutes and 17 seconds to the Ravens only having it for 22 minutes and 43 seconds. So we did a great job again controlling the clock, pretty much controlling the tempo of the game. You like seeing that, forced Baltimore's defense to be on the field a lot. And you look at that last drive that we had in the fourth quarter, that 17-play drive in the fourth quarter, that was an 11-minute drive. That was huge, man. That was a huge drive for us to really seal this game. We ate up a ton of clock there in the fourth quarter, really limited the possessions there for the Ravens in the fourth quarter, obviously limited the time they had to work with offensively. So I thought, even though we played poorly, the Broncos offensively did show up when it mattered most. Again, that fourth quarter, you go on a 17-play, 11-minute drive. That was huge. And just the control of the clock and control of the ball what was obviously a big key for the Broncos winning this game here against Baltimore. I thought Emmanuel Sanders played phenomenal in this game. He finished with 8 catches and 65 yards. Obviously, there was no offensive touchdown score in this game, so he didn't have a touchdown catch. But he was huge for us in this game, especially on third downs. 5 of his 8 catches came on third downs, I think 3 of which were in the first quarter. We did a great job of kind of working him underneath on those short routes. And Emmanuel Sanders is one of probably the most underrated route runners in the game today. He ran some beautiful routes in this game. And overall, I thought offensively, even though we didn't play well, we still did convert fairly well on third downs. We went 8 of 18 on third down conversions here in this game. So, close to 50%. You like that. Obviously, you can improve. But Emmanuel Sanders was great. Offensively, you do a solid job on third downs. And again, he was a big part of that. 5 of his 8 catches on third downs, again, was kind of Peyton Manning's safety blanket there. And Brandon McManus, I know he's not a offensive player. He's a special teams player. But just talking about the game he had, obviously, without him, we don't win. And Brandon McManus obviously had a ton of ups and downs last year. But what he did in this game to go 4-4 on his field goal attempts, to hit a 57-yarder and then come right back and hit a 56-yarder right out the gate in the first quarter was just huge. And I think this game is going to be huge for his confidence going forward. Again, everyone's always known he's had the leg strength to make these type of field goals, but it's obviously he's had some issues with his accuracy. Again, we saw that a lot last year as Broncos fans. But again, a great start for him to start the year, get his confidence up, hit a 57-yard field goal, snuck it in there, and then snuck in a 56-yard field goal. Big kicks made in this game by Brandon McManus. Hopefully he can build on this performance and just continue to grow as a kicker and improve as the season goes on. Now, looking at the bad things we did offensively, obviously there was a ton. Again, the Broncos offense has definitely taken their fair share of criticism for this performance, so I don't want to sit here and criticize them for 10 minutes, but they obviously didn't play well. And if we want to win a Super Bowl, and if we want to beat some of the better teams in this league, obviously offensively we're going to have to improve. We only had 219 total yards of offense. That's obviously not good. That's got to change, especially very soon if we want to win Thursday night in Kansas City. So you don't like that. And Peyton Manning obviously wasn't great. He goes 24-40. He has 175 yards passing, 0 touchdowns. Had the 1 interception, of course, in the third quarter to Jimmy Smith. That was returned for a touchdown, a pick 6. So obviously Peyton Manning did not play well, and he's going to have to play much better than this again, if we want to compete for a Super Bowl this year. And in his post-game press conference, he said that he played fair in this game. That's an understatement. He played very, very poorly in this game. He had a couple nice throws early on. Again, on third down to Emmanuel Sanders. He had a beautiful pass, threw a dart on 3rd and 11 to Emmanuel Sanders on a beautiful out route ran by Emmanuel Sanders. That was a big throw. But overall, obviously, he was very shaky. His decision-making was very poor in this game. He had multiple passes in this game that were tipped at the line of scrimmage. Again, he threw the pick six to Jimmy Smith, which was obviously a terrible decision, terrible throw by Peyton. It was tipped in the air. But he also had another play where he just kind of gave a layup to Darryl Smith, linebacker for Baltimore, which he dropped the interception. But if he would have caught it, it would have been another pick six. So Peyton Manning almost threw 2 pick sixes here in this game. He missed Emmanuel Sanders a few times deep while he was wide open. That should have been touchdown passes, especially early on. Peyton's he can't overthrow those passes. Obviously, he's got to make those throws and put them on Sanders, who beat the coverage, beat his man fairly easily. Again, he was open twice down the field for easy touchdowns that Peyton missed him. And Peyton also on a bootleg, he had Demaryius Thomas wide open 20, 30 yards down the field and missed him there too. So obviously Peyton missed some throws. His decision making was really poor. Again, throws the pick six in the third quarter to Jimmy Smith. You can't have that type of play and expect to win many games. But all things considered, Peyton Manning is still Peyton Manning. Again, this is not 30-year-old Peyton Manning. This is not the guy that even threw 55 touchdowns 2 seasons ago. Again, our offense isn't that same offense, and he's just not that same guy. So I think you're going to see him improve with time, but obviously he was not very good in this game. We only ran for 69 rushing yards, obviously a big thing in the offseason. We've been hyping up our new rushing attack and blah, 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 blah. But our offensive line played horrible in this game, flat out, primarily our interior offensive line. And that was a big reason why we were unable to rush the ball. Again, you only rush for 69 yards. You only average 2.8 yards per carry. Not going to win many games when you do that. And again, a lot of that was caused by our interior offensive line. A lot's been made of Evan Mathis and bringing him in to shore up our offensive line at the guard spot. I thought he played horrible in this game. And I thought Matt Paradis, who, Phil Simms and Jim Nantz were blowing up in the fourth quarter how good he was, I thought he was horrible in this game. And I honestly don't understand why Max Garcia is not starting over him at the center position, our 4th-round pick out of Florida this year. I think he's a better player. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's a better run blocker especially. So I thought those two guys were a big reason why we were unable to run the ball in this game. We were just getting mauled up front, physically got beat up. You give up 4 sacks. Obviously, hate seeing that. Our pass protection also wasn't good. Peyton Manning took some huge hits in this game. McClellan, I believe, is his name for Baltimore. Absolutely lit Peyton Manning up. I think it was in the second quarter. 3 of Baltimore's 4 sacks came in that second quarter, so that's kind of where it all fell apart in terms of our pass protection. But again, got to do a better job of keeping Peyton Manning, off the ground, keeping him cleaner, man, because our pass protection, like our run blocking, in this game was very poor. So our offensive line, I thought, was a huge reason why our offense didn't play well in this game. Again, give up 4 sacks, and a lot of it comes back to Evan Mathis and Matt Paradis. Again, they missed a bunch of blocks, not only in the run game, but also in the pass game. I think it might have been the play on the sack by McClellan where he lit up Peyton Manning. I think it was Evan Mathis who missed that block. And just our blitz pickup in general, even our running backs, you got to communicate better. Our blitz pickup in this game was absolutely terrible. And again, a lot of that falls on Evan Mathis and Matt Paradis, especially Matt Paradis being the center. He's calling that stuff out. So I thought those guys, again, played super poorly in this game. And again, were a big reason why Peyton Manning got sacked 4 times and why we struggled offensively. And I just thought the play calling was too conservative. I know it's a new offensive system. It's going to take time. But with weapons on the outside like Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, you got 2 very capable tight ends in Owen Daniels and Virgil Green. You got to take some more shots down the field. Again, Peyton Manning only averaged 4.4 yards per pass in this game. That's just not good enough, especially with these weapons that we have. And Cody Latimer, who I thought was going to have a really nice season this year for us, didn't even play. Jordan Norwood played in his place, who had 2 really big catches to end the first half. I thought he looked good. But with guys like that, I mean, you got to find a way to get Cody Latimer more involved, and you just got to take some more chances, man. The play calling, I thought, was very poor by Rick Dennison and Gary Kubiak. Again, just really conservative. Again, I know it's a new offensive system, but obviously the blocking, again, Evan Mathis and Matt Paradis, I don't mean to pick on them, but those 2 guys were very bad in this game. I would maybe consider again, starting Max Garcia at that center spot. or rotating him in more to keep our offensive line fresher. I mean, our offensive line just got to play better. And even on the outsides, I mean, Tyson Brilo I thought was okay, but Ryan Harris I thought also played pretty poor. Luis Vasquez missed a big block. I think it was in the second or third quarter. So our offensive line just as a unit didn't play well, and that's obviously going to improve with time as they get more chemistry. But, for the Broncos going into this game, on the next game on the road against Kansas City, against their pass rush, obviously we're just helmed by Justin Houston, who's coming off a 22-sack season. Him one-on-one against Tyson Brilo or Ryan Harris is going to be a nightmare for us. So now switching the focus to the defensive side of the ball and talking about some of the good things we did defensively. Obviously, there was a lot to love about what we did defensively in this game. First and foremost, utmost props and respect to Wade Phillips for coming up with the game plan that he did in Week 1, having our guys ready to go. I thought he called a brilliant game. He only gave up 6 points to Baltimore, which came on 2 field goals. Defensively, you love that. Anytime you can hold a team to 6 points and not allow them to get in the end zone, obviously that's a good day. The Ravens only had 173 total yards of offense. I mean, that is just ridiculous. Hold any team under 200 total yards of offense, especially at this level, the NFL level, obviously is a great day for your defense. And our third down defense was absolutely flawless in this game. Baltimore went 2 of 13 on third down conversions. They could not sustain drives. They never got in a rhythm offensively, and obviously, again, that had a lot to do with our third down defense. I thought our corners, even our linebackers, especially Danny Trevathan, Brandon Marshall, made some great tackles in the open space. So Baltimore's receivers were even after they made the catch, were not able to get some yards after the catch. I thought we did a great job of tackling in open space here in this game. And of course, obviously, the big storyline, the big reason why we had so much success defensively was our pass rush and the pressure we were able to get on Joe Flacco. In this game, we sacked Joe Flacco twice. We had 9 quarterback hits, so we just bullied him. We hit him a lot in this game. And a lot of that obviously had to do with DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller. They had those two combined for 8 of our 9 quarterback hits in this game. I thought obviously they were huge in this game for us. Von Miller, his initial pressure that he was able to get opened up things for some secondary pass rushers like Brandon Marshall, who was able to get a sack in this game. And then DeMarcus Ware, this is maybe, I don't want to say it's his best game as a Bronco because I'm sure he's had better, but this might be the most dominant game I've seen from DeMarcus Ware in a Broncos uniform. He was absolutely flawless in this game. His get-offs off the line of scrimmage were so quick in this game. I mean, he was making the Ravens tackles head spin. I mean, his get-off, even Von Miller's obviously was great too, but DeMarcus Ware, his get-offs in this game were super quick. He looked like he was 25 again. He just played a brilliant game again. He was in Joe Flacco's face the whole game, had a beautiful sack on him there in the first quarter. He was able to bring him down by his shoulder pads. And we just beat up, bullied Joe Flacco, forced him to rush his decision-making, which is what you want to do to kind of a big plotting type guy like Joe Flacco. So our pass rush, obviously, which has been talked about a lot, definitely lived up to the hype. And then you get 2 turnovers, which is obviously great. You always want to create forced turnovers defensively. Both were interceptions. Obviously, Talib coming up huge there in the third quarter that everything was going wrong for us to end the third quarter. Talib comes up with that pick six. Great job by him of jumping that route there on Steve Smith, reading Joe Flacco's eyes perfectly, and then taking it to the house. And how was that pick set up? By the pressure by the Broncos, by our pass rush of Shane Ray and Von Miller getting pressure on the outside, and then David Bruton coming in on that safety blitz right in Joe Flacco's face, right in his vision of the throwing lane, and obviously, boom, just threw it right to Talib, who jumped the route, takes it to the house. And then, of course, Darian Stewart, former Raven, ironically, gets the interception there. Beautiful play to kind of steal the ball away from Crockett Gilmore, the Ravens tight end, to seal the game. So just a great performance defensively. And we did this, people forget, we did this without Derek Wolfe, who was obviously one of our better defensive linemen, and without TJ Ward, who's, one of our 3 or 4 best defensive players. So just an awesome performance defensively. Obviously, they were the reason we won this game. And I know it wasn't pretty and people will complain, but if we are going to win a Super Bowl, I will say it all year and I will sound like a broken record, it's going to be on the back of this defense, and it's going to be from performances like this from this defense. Just a great game by that group. And again, to do it without TJ Ward, to do it without Derek Wolfe, just even more impressive. It wasn't pretty. You can bitch and moan about it all you want, but if we're going to win a Super Bowl, it's going to look like this, and it's going to be behind this defense. So great job by the Broncos of just getting the job done, getting the first win under their belt, going 1-0. That's the goal. And then now we move on, of course, to a game that's on really short notice, which is going to be tough. But you go in to Kansas City on Thursday night, primetime game, big divisional game. They're coming off a win over the Houston. Both teams are 1-0. So obviously not a lot of time to celebrate this win. So going to be a tough matchup on Thursday. Going to obviously have to play a shit ton better than we did here against Baltimore if we want to go into Kansas City and beat them, especially offensively. Got a lot to clean up there. So that's my recap, guys, of the Broncos' Week 1 win against the Baltimore Ravens. I know it was long, but thank you for watching. As always, I really appreciate the support. Leave me a comment below. What stood out to you about Week 1 of the NFL, regardless of teams? And, of course, for your Broncos fan, what did you think of this game? Who'd you thought played well? What did you think of the offense? What did you think of the defense? All that good stuff. I'll see you guys maybe before the Kansas City game, but more than likely after that game as well for a recap. Hopefully we can move to 2-0. Again, thank you for watching. And as always, guys, go Broncos. Way to kick off the 2015 season with a W.